You see this cup? It's my special cup. In this cup is Faber-Castell Polychromos colored pencils that I bought more than 10 years ago, and I was afraid of wasting them, so I never used them. They just sat there looking pretty on my desk. The other day, Em Rouleau Art, if you haven't heard of her, I will put a link in the description below, but the other day she posted a video about abstract sketching, and originally I wasn't even going to watch the video because abstract sketching seems like kind of like silly and out of my comfort area of drawing, and the video was also 52 minutes long, and I love her so much. I could watch her all the time, but 52 minutes is too long for my ADHD brain, and I was having such a hard time focusing while I was trying to watch it, and I tried it like 4 or 5 times. And so finally I was doing some warm-up sketches while I was watching, because it kind of helps for me to have my hands busy while I'm watching videos. And I was watching and doing some warm-up sketching, trying to do what she was saying. Like, the premise of the whole abstract sketches is you're putting down lines and you stick with them. You don't erase them, and it doesn't matter if it looks like crap, because the whole idea, at least what I took from the video, is you're problem solving until it looks like something that you'd be okay with leaving it how it is. You know what I mean? Like, you're sketching it and then you're done. You don't have time to be a perfectionist about stuff, and you're trying not to overthink about things, which is something that I really struggle with. I overthink everything in life and in art. So I tried a few sketches. I loved it. It was so freeing, so relaxing, and so much fun. I had a blast. And I figured, why not do a spread, and why not show you guys? So this spread, I basically took some references off of Pinterest. I just grabbed 5. I did it quick. Boom, boom, boom. Don't overthink it. And this first one, as you can see, it does look similar to the reference photo, but I was really trying to push like an illustration. And at first, the thought that I had in my mind when I put this blue down is, those white vases with like the Chinese blue ink? I'm not really sure what they're called. I've tried finding the name for it. I can't. But I think it's just like antique vase kind of art, or you know what I mean? Like Chinese ink kind of thing. I don't know if I'm explaining this well. But that was what I was going for with this sketch. And then I decided to add the pink and the green, and loved it. And I think I got cocky, because after that one, I slowly started regressing into my older, freaking out about stuff ways. Like this sketch here, I was like, let's apply this technique to faces. And it didn't really work that well. And I'm really sorry that the colored pencil is kind of light. You can't really see the lines, the construction lines. But that was another way for me to relax, is I knew that if I used a lighter colored pencil, that I was going to be less likely to freak out about doing anything wrong, because I could just come back over top of it with darker lines, like any other drawing that I do. I think, looking back now, I kind of wish that I had embraced the abstract sketchiness of it and just gone for some less detailed sketches to start out with, and I probably will do that in the future. I was also trying to keep a very limited color palette. That was really important to me, to not worry about what colors I was picking. The only colors that I have, I will list those in the description below. They're not the only ones I have, it's just the only ones that I used in this drawing. And I also used a Caran d'Ache white pencil, only because I didn't have one in Faber-Castell. When I picked these colors, I believe I was going for to be able to merge them with my Prismacolors, because I have the full range of Prismacolors. But there was no way that I was going to buy the whole set of Faber-Castells. Though, looking back at it, I probably would have been better off buying at least a smaller set instead of open stock like I did, because the open stock, I just grabbed a lot of colors that don't really go together. The one cool thing about using a limited color palette is I was having fun adding colors that shouldn't really go where I put them, like blue lips. Who would think that would look cool? That looked really cool. For this tulip, I decided to scale back and pull myself back into something more simple, because I realized that with the portrait, I think I might have overcomplicated it again, and that's okay. This tulip was a really fun way for me to loosen up and go back into the mindset of, this is supposed to be simple, put it down, be quick, and be big shapes, and have fun. And I'm trying to draw more flowers because I find them really intimidating for some reason. They seem like they're overcomplicated, and I'm trying to find ways to draw them less realistically. I haven't quite mastered the letting go and doing it loosely and stylized. I'm working on it. But the entire time that I was doing this, I just kept reminding myself that it's okay if it's crap. It's okay if it doesn't look the best. Just put it down, don't think about it, and have fun. And that was really working for me. Even when I'm recording these videos, this is fun for me. Drawing is fun for me. It's a wonderful way for me to relax. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, you've probably come to the same conclusion. I'm not a very relaxed person. I'm actually really anxious and I overthink everything. But this exercise was really good for that because I didn't feel any pressure. I just was giving myself permission to make, what could be bad art. Another cool thing that Em had mentioned in the video is that when you're doing this, you're able to more quickly put down your lines as far as portraits, and that is really awesome to me because I tend to be really slow with just about everything. Graphite, colored pencil, I'm slow, and I would love to be faster. So if I could get to a point at the sketch where I feel okay to move on faster, I'm down for that. This portrait though, I really had kind of a hard time figuring out what I wanted to do with the shading. I did not want perfect blending, that's all I knew. I really wasn't sure. I was just winging this whole thing and kind of like flying by the seat of my pants, and I was having so much fun. It was scary, but fun. Like, I wasn't worried if it was gonna look like crap, because it's just one video. Like, I just wanted to share with you guys how fun this was, and it might not be for everybody. In this portrait especially, I had to do the problem solving because I got to the point where I was supposed to be, where I would normally like shade, and I didn't know how to make it look more finished without shading how I normally shade. So I went with these really graphic, huge lines and kind of went from there. Like, I was trying for more expressiveness than correct lines. And that was when I really started having fun again, and I stopped worrying if it looked, just like the reference photo, because it really wasn't the whole point of the exercise. It was not to replicate the likeness or to make it look even like a human. It was just to get your lines down and not worry or not stress. And another cool thing is I used colors in this portrait that I would never use, and surprisingly they ended up going really well together. And also, I'm really glad that I did use these Faber-Castells for this. Number one, because they kept a point really well. But number two, it was just low pressure enough to where it didn't really matter if they didn't end up perfect. It just reminded me to have fun with the art supplies that I have. And I really don't understand all the hype about them. They seem, the only difference between them and my Prismacolors is, one, you need a different sharpener because they're bigger, but two, they don't break anywhere down the line like Prismacolors. Prismacolors are notoriously horrible for sharpening, and I had zero issues with Faber-Castell, so maybe that's the hype, but they were just as creamy and just as pigmented as Prismacolors, but they were just a dream to sharpen. I loved them. This flower, it originally started out with this rose. I did not stick to the reference photo on this at all, and maybe I should have, I don't know. But what I had done is, by this time, I had gone back into my big Pinterest board where I have all my pictures of flowers, and I just started drawing different parts of flowers, some from imagination, some from I had a peony right next to this rose, and I started adding like the lines of how a peony would look. or peony. I don't know how you say that, if I'm even saying it right. But I was trying to draw, I think, several different flowers, and instead of keeping it something simple, again, I went for the overcomplicated and heavily detailed thing. And like I said, I'm intimidated by flowers, which probably means that I should draw more of them, but they're still intimidating. And spent a lot of time on this. And I think I wanted to give up on this flower like 15 times because it was really testing my ADHD also. Like, it was so monotonous trying to fill in all those flowers, but it was also kind of, relaxing. And once I kept reminding myself, just relax, just have fun with it. Then I really started to embrace, hey, how about I make it brighter? Or how about I, define these edges? And it's something that I never would have drawn before this exercise, but I'm really glad that I did. I learned so much of what not to do and what to do, and basically just having fun in my sketchbook again, which is really what a sketchbook is for. It is for practicing, these new techniques that you wouldn't normally do, and I cannot wait to implement some of the stuff that I learned into other aspects of my art. And you want to know something like super funny? Well, I find it hilarious. Like, you're drawing this pretty little flower, and I'm listening to Eminem in the background. I don't know, it just doesn't match. It's funny to me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, it would mean so much to me if you would hit that like and follow button. Means the world to my channel. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye!